Hello everyone and welcome to the online session of science class 6. So in this session we are going to discuss about this is the part 2 session of chapter 4, sorting materials into groups. So as our previous session we have discussed about sorting matter, we have discussed about, and in physical properties we have also discussed about physical state. So today we'll discuss different physical properties of material. Materials and their properties. Firstly we'll just take a quick recap what are materials. As you can see in the slide, a material is a physical substance used to make things. Metal, plastic, ceramics, glass and fibers are some of the main categories for material. So if we look around, everything we see is made from a material, sometimes more than one. So as we all know that if we talk about matter, so matter is a substance, or we can say matter, everything that occupies space and has or mass is known as matter. So in our next in this slide you can see some example here, like the clothes you are wearing are made from fibers. The chair you are sitting on is made from plastic or wood maybe. The window in the school are made from glass. So can you see any other examples around you? Please check and think about it. Here in this slide you can see some properties of material. So in first point, a property of a material is a description of the characteristics which it has. They are adjectives which tell us about the material. Second point, materials have different properties and characteristics depending on what they are used for. And third one is, some materials are hard, other are soft, some are strong, other are weak. So in properties we'll discuss about this also. So in first point, as you have seen, different characteristics define different material. So every different material has different characteristics. In this picture you can see different types of material. So as in the picture you can see a ring. So what is the ring made of? It is made of gold, and here you can see diamond also. So in the ring there are two types of material, gold and diamond. In this slide you can see a bottle. So what is the bottle made of? It's made of glass or maybe plastic. In this you can see a table. Table is made up of wood. If we'll see a wall, so the wall is made up of stone. So here in these pictures you have seen different types of material. If we'll talk about the sweater, so this sweater is made up of wool. Wool is a kind of fiber. And think about your books. Your books is made up of paper. Now we'll discuss about properties of materials. So first, visual property, or we can say transparency. So capability of a material to let the light through and the object clearly seen. As in the picture you can see three types of material. In first opaque, we can't see other side, but in translucent we can partially, or the image will be blur, but in transparent we can see clearly. So on the basis of transparency we can divide material into three different parts: opaque, translucent and transparent. So this is transparency. Next, here you can see the word thermal properties, but if you will see in your book, the word is conductivity. So conductivity means capability of a material to transmit the heat through it. So for example, our cooking utensils are made up of metals. Why our utensils are not made up of plastic? Because plastic is not a good conductor of heat. So on the basis of conductivity we can divide the material. For example, metals, all the metals are good conductor of heat, but if we'll talk about wood, plastic, these are not good conductor of heat. If we'll take an example, we have taken an example of our cooking utensil. Our cooking utensils are made up of metal like steel, aluminium, but the handles of the utensils are made up of insulators, or you can say bad conductor of heat, so that we can hold the utensil. So this is about conduct. We have already discussed this: opaque object, translucent and here we'll discuss about the property ductility. Ductility means if the metal or if the material can be converted into thin wires, then the metal would be ductile. But when a material cannot be converted into thin wires, the material would be non-ductile. You can see in the picture. So this property we known as ductility. Next we'll discuss about malleability. As we have discussed in ductility, if we can convert metal into thin wires, so it is ductility. But if a material can be converted into thin sheets, then this property is known as malleability, and the material can be malleable. In the picture you can see, we can take an example of aluminium foil, which we use for food wrapping. Aluminium is a metal, but it can be converted into thin sheets, so it is malleable. But can we converted glass or wood into thin sheets? We cannot. So these are non-malleable. So this is about malleability. Next we will discuss about ecological properties. That means biodegradability. These words you have learned earlier also: biodegradable and non-biodegradable. The material which are environment friendly or easily decomposed are biodegradable. For example, fruit and vegetables peels are biodegradable, but the plastic cannot be decomposed easily. It takes thousands of years or hundred of years to decompose. So this is non-biodegradable. So we can categorize a material on the basis of biodegradability. So this is about biodegradable and non-biodegradable. So in these properties we have discussed about transparency, right? Now we'll discuss about appearance. Appearance means how the matter or material looks. Material that have luster are usually metals. Example: iron, copper, aluminium, gold are example of metal. if you will see a gold and a wood, so the appearance is very different. You can see the difference there. So this is appearance, how the material look like. Luster, as the word you can see here, luster means shine. So iron, copper, aluminium, gold are having luster or shine, but materials like paper, cardboard, wood do not have luster or shine. So on the basis of appearance also we can divide the material. Next is hardness. On the basis of hardness we can divide material into two parts: soft material and hard material. The material which we can compress are called soft material, but the material which are difficult to compress are called hard. So cotton and sponge are example of soft material, and iron is an example of hard material. Then next property you can see here, solubility. Some substances have completely disappeared or dissolved in water. For example, if we'll dissolve salt, we'll try to dissolve salt into the water, it completely dissolve into the water. But if we'll put some soil into the water, what will happen? After some time, the soil will settle down. This process is sedimentation, and it will not completely mix with water. So those substances are called soluble, which can easily be dissolved with water, and those do not mix with water are known as insoluble substances. So this is solubility. On the basis of solubility we can categorize or divide material into two parts: soluble, insoluble. Next we will discuss transparency we have already discussed. So conductivity also we have. Yes, floating and sinking. So here you can see the definition also. Floating is when an object is on the water, but sinking is when the whole object is below the surface or under the water. So these are definition, but the questions are, why do objects float, and why does the material of an object matter with floating and sinking, and why do wooden made boats float? So this we'll discuss, because if we'll talk about the word here, in the picture you can see the object. So in this we'll discuss about densities. As in the points you can see, one reason object float or sink is their density. If an object is more dense than water, it will sink, but if the object is less dense than the liquid or water, it will float on the water. So density, you can say density decide that the material will be float or sink. At the last point, read the last point carefully, and I hope you will be clear about density. Next we will discuss about texture. So what is texture? Basically how things feel when we touch the things. So the sensation caused by the external surface of object received through the sense of touch. As you can see in the paragraph, basically how things feel. So think about squeezing soft carpet between your toes, running your hand along a rough wooden tabletop, or sinking down into the leather couch cushions. If you touch a petal of a flower, you will feel it soft, but if you will touch a bark of the tree, you will feel it rough. So this is texture, how things feel. So this is about texture, about it, which we have discussed today. Different properties of material. In one property we have discussed in our previous class, which is physical state. So in that property we have discussed that there are three physical states of water: solid, liquid and gases. So about solid we have discussed the particle of the solids are very tightly packed, but in liquid they are loosely packed, and in gases they are very loosely packed. So one property we have discussed in our previous session and other we have discussed today. So today we have discussed about what is material and different properties of material like solubility, transparency, hardness, texture, conductivity, ductility, malleability. This we have discussed about. So I hope you all have understood about it. In our next session we will discuss about chapter 5. So till then, complete your notebook, question answer and exercise, and please see this presentation. Thank you so much.